Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the Huddle, the Review.com's weekly high school sports show. I'm Executive Editor Rob Toder of the Alliance Review, joined as always by Sports Editor Mike Brown. And it's week one of the high school football playoff season. Mike, we have three teams in the playoffs: the Louisville Leopards, the United Golden Eagles, and the Western Reserve Blue Devils. And let's start with Louisville. A tough matchup for the Leopards in round one. They play the Poland Bulldogs.
Yeah, and I think, those two have met in the past. They've always been great games. I look for that again. There's a little bit of a comfort level, Rob, because the game's in Louisville. But I'll tell you what, Poland is a quality football team.
Yeah, and the one common opponent, Poland beat Marlington in week one. And, of course, Louisville won the big showdown later in the season for the NBC title, defeating the Dukes by 40. So I don't know that you can compare week one to week 7 or 8 whenever that game was played, but one thing we know Poland's going to bring is a fundamentally sound football team,
right,
and a multifaceted team offensively. They don't just run or throw the ball.
Right. In a way, these two are kind of mirror images with a few tweaks in there, Rob. So, it may come down to a mistake here or there. This could be a game decided by one turnover.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Western Reserve is also at home in Division 7, and they play host to the Toronto team from down below, near Steubenville, actually.
Yeah.
So that's a long trip for Toronto to start with, and then they've got to face a Western Reserve team that features, the monsters on the offensive line.
They sure do. That huge offensive line, they just tee it up and come at you, and they can throw a pretty good passing game at you, too. And, Joe Falaska, the receiver, nice tall target there. So Western Reserve can do a little bit of everything, and I think they're a team, Rob, that's gotten better as the season's gone on because they had some holes to fill going into this season, and I think they successfully filled those holes.
Okay, and United probably with the toughest matchup of the first weekend. They've got to go to Youngstown to face the Ursuline Fighting Irish, a strong traditional program out of Youngstown, and so United's had a good season, and I think, but it's going to be a tough matchup for them.
Yeah, that will be. My goodness, that's got to be one of the tougher first-round matchups anybody could draw in Ohio, I think. And but congratulations to Golden Eagles. Hey, that's why they play the game. They'll go play the game there at YSU on Saturday night and let the chips fall as they may.
Yeah, Mike Ward's a good coach, and he's a master at taking a situation where you think they don't have a chance, and I know his message this week is going to be, what do we got to lose?
Right.
And so he's going to throw everything out there. And so you can expect to see all kinds of different formations and probably some trick plays as well because he's a master at that. So.
Right, and this would be, I believe, United's second time in the playoffs, so, and I believe they're both under Mike Ward. That tells you how good a job he's done in Hanoverton.
Yeah, so we'll make sure we'll have coverage of all those games and previews throughout the week as well. Off the field, Tim Budd resigned as St. Thomas football coach. I know you liked him a lot.
Right.
He did a really good job with the Knights for the last few years.
When you think about it, he made the playoffs 3 of his 4 years at Aquinas. He really brought Aquinas football back to the fore, I think, because really they had gone a long time without making the playoffs. And then his first year they made the playoffs. I covered that game. They won against Monroe Central. Way down south in Ohio, and then he took that. They built upon that last year. They beat the Brookfield Warriors, handily in a first-round playoff game. And Rob, as I said in the paper today too, they would have been a playoff team this year if they weren't in the tough region they're in. 5 teams in that region that St. Tom's in finished 10-0. I mean, that's unheard of. And I looked at the other regions. St. Tom would have made the playoffs in any other region but that one. Yeah. So that's a tough break for them. But Bud did a great job, and hopefully somebody can step in and even continue the job that he's built there.
Yeah, absolutely. So good luck to Tim Budd and his future endeavors. I know it was just a matter of logistics for him as well.
Right.
Where do you see the Marlington situation? Because we know that was an interim position after Ed Miley resigned in the spring. So where do you see Marlington? They have some time now to kind of sit back and sift through resumes or interest, and who's the perfect candidate in your mind for that Marlington?
Well, I think there's several, but I do think, and again, I don't want to toss a name out because this guy is currently coaching at a Stark County high school. But I think this gentleman would be a perfect fit for Marlington, but I don't know how it's going to play out at his current school, if he's going to be coming back at that school next year. And I hate to stir the pot there, but there's a guy in my mind who would be a perfect fit for them. And I do think the fact that they went 5-5 in kind of an in-between year this year, because they lost a lot to graduation last year, lost their head coach, and I think Scott Gabelt came in and did a great job as an interim head coach. They finished 5-5, were very competitive the entire season. and they have a nice young quarterback coming back for 2 more years in Pinnell, who broke all kind of passing records at Marlington this year. I think for any coach who's looking to go to a quality program, I think Marlington is a very nice Division III program now.
Okay. Yeah, I think they've really got that program set where they're going to, if even in a 5-5 might be a down year for them, they're going to compete for the NBC title each and every year. So, all right, good luck to Marlington in their coaching search, and good luck to all the teams in the playoffs this weekend. We'll have coverage throughout the weekend. We'll have live updates on the review.com and our Twitter pages, our reporters' Twitter pages, and we'll have all the coverage in Saturdays and Mondays Alliance Reviews. So until then, for Mike Brown, this is Rob Toder. We'll see you at the stadium.